The Valedictorian, Mr. Kaijie, will now give his speech.
Provost, distinguished guests, fellow graduates, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. I'm Kaijie from the WKWSCI School of Communication and Information, and I'm honored to be speaking here today. And to the graduating class of 2012, I have this to say: we finally did it. Okay, now comes the harder part. All right, so here we are, Convocation, the milestone of our lives. And what does it mean? It means that we've officially graduated from studenthood. It means that we are no longer eligible for student meals. No concession passes, no conference grants of $2,500, no privilege to be called a boy or a girl. Instead, full price for a value meal, full fare for public transport, $500 deducted from your grant, maybe be called sir or ma'am, and pray. You never get uncle or auntie. The last one gets me the most, actually, but okay. So, given such a frightening prospect, it's surprising that all of you have come. I'm sure throwing your mortarboard up in the air is a delightful proposition. So is feeling for that split second, the sense of fulfillment after 4 years of hard work. Above all, I think it's the burning desire to share this moment with those who matter and those who brought us here today. For me, that's my father with his taxi, my mother with a soldering iron and later a wok and spatula, my sisters with their sacrifices and generosity, and my girlfriend, to whom I owe half my degree to, with her wit and sarcasm, which has shaped me and scarred me for 7 years and counting. And I know some of you might have equally cheesy words that you just can't say yourselves. So everyone, let's do with our applause what we can't do with our words. Please stand. Please stand. Turn around to face your loved ones and give all of them a round of applause. We couldn't have done this without you. 谢谢妈咪和爸爸. And also a round of applause for our faculty and staff as well, who is so dedicated towards our education. Please be seated. So what else remains once we pull back this curtain of satisfaction, pride, and a job well done? I think it's an overwhelming fear of the future. I've chatted with some of my peers here who have expressed diverse opinions about graduation. Some are raring to get started in their jobs. Some have already begun. Others continue their late nights of How I Met Your Mother. But I think overall, there is this deep-seated uncertainty about what lies ahead. We fear the future because we fear being inadequate for it. What we do and what we face from now on will probably be far beyond our comfort zones. And today, that is my one and only point. Embrace these fears, because that is when we are most vulnerable and most brilliant. If what you're doing gives you sleepless nights, but you're still drawn to it like a moth baptized by fire, then it must be pretty well worth fearing for. So, fear is good, but embracing your fears, that's easier said than done. And indeed, we have very much to be afraid of. About 90% of last year's cohort was employed after 6 months. If the status quo persists, about 16 of you over there will continue watching late-night sitcoms. Our gross monthly salaries are also very competitive, downwards. And if that's not enough, the Mayan calendar has predicted that the end of the world is 141 days away. So yes, you should fear. And even if you discount statistics, our own life experiences can be tough, scary, and unfair. Instead of embracing fear, we often just become ostriches, burying our heads in the nearest comfort zones. I am equally guilty of that. The learning that I chose to have in university was learning that I was good. That's why I enjoy research. Everything was black or white, right or wrong. I was a good ostrich because statistics could prove everything, even myself. I have never understood my friends who did journalism, broadcast, or advertising. These specializations were much more subjective. I was afraid of being told I'm not good enough. And now, I am afraid, but for a different reason. I'm afraid that after 4 full years in university, I've not learned to be better. So here I am today as someone who chose not to be afraid, envious of those who chose to live fearful lives. People like Lise, Pedro, Lita, Hendrik, and Walter. I always wondered where they got the will to push through all these uncertainties. But now I know. Their mettle was tested every single day, sharpened with doubt and realities. Mine remains safely stashed in my comfort zone. Never used, never sharpened, and never brilliant. So as I stand here, about to enter the world that everyone says I am destined to succeed in, I stand trembling. I tremble because I realize that a good degree is merely the first rung on a long ladder to success. I tremble because henceforth it will be my beliefs, values, and life experiences that will speak for me, not my GPA. I tremble because a good honors degree is not like buying insurance. It's more like a mini bond. And we all know how many intelligent minds lost their jobs when the crisis hit. I tremble because I am accredited but untested. But this moment of fear is also one of pristine clarity. For the first time, I am afraid. My future is uncertain, dangerous, exciting. I've never felt more liberated to choose what I want. You know how sometimes when we can't decide on something, we flip a coin? What is amazing is that at that very moment, the coin leaves your hand. That very moment when it spins in random motion, controlled by mysterious forces beyond your control. That moment that you let fear grip you is also when you know exactly what you are wishing for. Dear friends, there's no better time than graduation for us to have that moment. Let fear be the crystal ball, and let fear propel you forth. This is the time when we emerge from the chrysalis of education and march forward alone as individuals wholly in control. There's no consent form to sign, no safety net to be caught in, no appeal for grades, and definitely no Photoshop for your bad photos. There is only this fear of the future and then clarity of how you are now your own master. Convocation. What is it really? Besides a chance to get drunk on free beer at Dr. D's Trailblazer later, I'd like to think of it as an occasion to take stock of our lives, to face insecurity that we've neglected for so long, and to ask ourselves what we truly want. More often than not, it is a scary, scary experience. But I think the key is not to let your fear stop you, and instead, carry you forth to battles worth fighting for. So when you fling that motorboard of yours up high, when you shout, "Graduate law," at the top of your lungs, I wish for all of you that you get the moment of fear. Embrace it. For if you do what your heart trembles for, most likely what you do will make the world tremble too. Thank you.
I declare this convocation closed.